Hey, what's up everyone, welcome to the video. Let's have a little bit of a chat about Tome of the Firebrand. So imagine it's turn 2, you have your Tome in your arsenal, you've already forgotten your second tunic trigger, we're doing very well, we're really in the flow, and you got a hand like this. So with hands like these are the kind of hands that you're going to see a lot when you have a Tome of Firebrand in hand. What I mean with that is that you have something like a Belittle, you only have 2 sources of Draconic, you don't really have quite enough resources to get where you want to be because of the way things flow, but you can make it work by something like this, that you play a Scar for a Scar, you reveal your Rising Resentment, you can now fetch yourself a Minnowism from the deck, so let's go ahead and fetch that one. So we have our 3 drops fixed. Then you can play a Rising Resentment into a Ember Blade, which leaves you with 1 floating resource. You play your other 0 drop, you get your Feeding Flame back, and at this point you can play your Tome and draw 2. So a hand like this, it would already be kind of good. The issue arises when you get into situations where you have a little bit too many of these generic attacks and not enough resources available to get to your Draconic, 4 Draconic chain links. I've been testing a lot, and with the build that I shown yesterday as well as the build that I've updated a bit, I feel that Tome gets into a bit of a weird situation if you have too many 1-drops in hands. Like if you have too many of the 1-drop go against that use up all your blue card resources, then sometimes you will not really have the resource available to play a Tome of the Firebrand. But I guess it's still worth it to have at least 1 copy in the deck, because you can very easily put this one into your arsenal and just wait a turn or 2 until you are able to get your 4 Draconic chain links. You're of course gonna have hands where you can't really do that you, for example, have like a full generic hand and that you cannot play a Tome because you do need those Draconic chain links. But I think that it's still worth running 1 copy of this in the Fi deck. I am personally going to continue running 1 copy. I might even put a second one because of all the value it creates. I mean, it's 2 cards for 1 right, and it just costs 1 resource, which is very good in combination with the Spring Tunic, and it's also very good to get to your combo pieces, which is something that I talked about in my video yesterday, that I had issues with the deck getting to my multiple Phoenix Flames. Well, the more draw you have in the deck, the faster you're gonna get there, which is also one of the reasons why right now I've modified my list a bit to run a Kugane Tome as well, just to make the deck a little bit more consistent, have more card draw in here in general. So in short, my answer, yes, Tome of Firebrand from my testing is worth running, but only add 1 copy. If you're gonna add a second or a third copy, you're gonna run into some very deep consistency issues, and you don't want to get there. Another thing that might be worth considering is to run the Mage Master's Boots in combination with a Tome of Yendel, because that way you can crack the boots, pitch a blue, and then play a Tome of Yendel. Draw 2 cards, gain 5 life, which might be useful in a deck like Fi because we don't really block all that much, and I can kind of off-put, what do you want to call it? You can off-put the whole, how to say it, the whole aggro against mirror matches, so maybe a Tome of Yendel has a place in a deck like this, because most of our stuff has go again anyway, so the Snapdragon Skillers are kind of a dead slot in here. So maybe 1 Tome of Yendel and 1 Tome of Firebrand could make this deck even more potent. I kind of like to use the Art of Wars myself instead of the Tome, so I have 3 copies of Art of War in my deck. So I need to see if it is worth to run too many of these, because if you get into those weird hands where you have only Tomes and only Art of Wars in hand, you kind of have a dead hand and you can't really get rid of stuff out of your hand easily either, because all of this stuff doesn't really block for anything, and pitching for your Ember Blade every turn can be quite risky. So I need to find a bit of a balance between things, but for now I'll run 1 copy, and I will let you all know pretty soon how it's going, if I am still running it after the next 20 or 30 games or so. If I am, I will do a video update in one of my Fi deck updates about it, but for now, let's just run 1 copy. I think it's worth it.